Estás viendo LA City View, Canal 35, nuestra ciudad, nuestro canal.
In LA this week, more than 1,300 formerly incarcerated receiving a path to jobs thanks to a $9 million collaboration between the city and Caltrans. The story next.
The city's innovative computer giveaway program is growing by leaps and bounds, so much that they're reaching out to corporate sponsors to do their good deeds. I'm Gil Reyes with a story next from Pacoima.
I'm Anna Marcos. Find out how Parking Enforcement's new Smart Release boot will help you pay off your parking tickets with just a little elbow grease. That's coming up.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Finding a job after you've been in prison is a challenge for many ex-cons. Many times they fall back into a life of crime and back behind bars because employers won't hire them. But as Gil Reyes reports, the city is doing its part to help provide second chances.
Thanks to the city and Caltrans, these ex-cons are staying productive by sprucing up our streets. Collecting more than 123,000 bags of trash, leaves, and other debris since the program launched last fall. They're also picking up the pieces of their lives. It's really helped you a lot.
It did. It helped me transition back into society, and I was able to end the gap in my work history and able to apply for other jobs.
Cesar Gonzalez is among the 1,300 former felons either helped or will be helped by the new Roads to Second Chances program. This $12 an hour gig is just the start. The next step is job placement to higher paying careers. Helping out are Mayor Eric Garcetti's Office of Reentry and nonprofits like Chrysalis.
When you ask people who have served time what their biggest hurdle is after prison, they're very clear. It's getting a job. And because the recidivism rate in California is 65%. But if you're paired with a job when you get out, that drops to just 3%.
Crime in the city of Los Angeles has increased in recent years, and a lot of people put the blame on recent state laws that released much of the state's prison population to prevent overcrowding behind bars. The problem is many of those inmates were released without adequate jobs or services. This Caltrans program aims to solve that problem.
We have parolees up and down the state, and more programs like this will make California, will make the city of Los Angeles much safer as these men and women come back to our communities. They want to be productive.
And if they can't?
Sometimes your only choice is to do what you know how to do and then commit crimes to get money.
And you've seen it happen with people that you've known.
Yeah, that usually happens a lot, and that's what they say. If I can't get a job, then most likely I'm going to go back to selling drugs or committing crimes.
We're happy to report that Gonzalez, who spent 8 years in prison, has moved on to a full-time construction job since Caltrans, enough to support his family.
People that used to fall through the cracks are now not falling through the cracks. And you all are being able to participate not only as workers for Caltrans, but as citizens and participants in our communities.
A clean slate and clean streets through second chances. I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Cost of the program is $9 million. The mayor's office is also making it easier for former felons to attain jobs within the city family to replace a growing number of retirees. Well, Metro officials are working on another work development program. This one takes a panoramic approach to the future. The Win LA program will bring jobs and a whole new socioeconomic outlook to many LA communities. And Marcos has more.
Imagine getting your pick of 778,000 new jobs. That's what awaits Angelenos over the next 40 years as Measure M starts funding transportation projects all over LA County.
And this brings together two of my favorite things, transportation and jobs.
We're going to start with operations, maintenance, which includes bus mechanics, engineering, administrative positions.
City leaders want to make the most of the job bonanza as they sign a pledge to fund a new Workforce Initiative Now, or Win LA program. The ambitious plan will not only provide jobs, recruiting, and training, but some transit-driven education for disadvantaged communities and the younger kids as well.
Part of this vision is to establish a state-of-the-art vocational and college preparation 6 to 12 grade boarding school. The 6 to 12 grade boarding school is really the entry into the industry.
Over the next 3 years, almost 40% of Metro's workforce will be eligible for retirement, with almost 70% of those workers over the age of 40. So this program will ensure a healthy workforce for years to come.
You have heard that our baby boomers are retiring, our need for a workforce to replace them.
Metro and city leaders aren't content just to sign their own pledges. They encouraged their transportation partners, building contractors, design firms, colleges, and more to take the Win LA pledge and help train and hire the future Metro workforce. So brush up on those construction and engineering skills. More than 300 different careers and hundreds of thousands of jobs await. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Voters approved Measure M last year with a half-cent sales tax to fund LA County transportation projects. Well, speaking of transportation projects, can LA Metro go totally gas-free? Well, as Gil Reyes reports, that's the goal in Metro's ambitious plan to cut pollution.
Natural gas is in the past, electric buses here to last.
Southern California's largest transit agency shoots for something unprecedented for a fleet its size: zero gas emissions by the year 2030.
It's really important for us to do this as the federal government is rolling back environmental regulations, as we're backing out of the Paris Accords. California has been leading, Los Angeles has been leading, and LA Metro is going to be leading.
LA City Councilman Mike Bonin and Mayor Eric Garcetti are among the Metro board members unanimously supporting this plan. Yes, agencies like LA City's Dash service have a few electric buses, but no major transit agency in the country has zero emissions for every one of its vehicles, at least not yet. And another major step towards that goal, Metro officials approving close to $140 million to purchase close to 100 all-electric buses. Now, these buses would serve the Orange Line in the San Fernando Valley and also the Silver Line along the Harbor and San Bernardino freeways. The eventual goal, to buy 2,300 gas-free buses running on either electricity or other zero-emission technology like hydrogen. Metro board members say health and jobs are at stake.
And I represent a lot of communities who are suffering because of asthma, because they live near the ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles, and don't deserve to compromise their health so that we can also move goods and transportation.
So when we make investments in a future, in energy-efficient buses, electric buses, what does that do? It creates jobs. It creates a stimulus program. We don't have to wait for Washington, D.C. to take action. We can begin doing it here.
But can we afford it? One electric bus costs $200,000 more than Metro's current ones running on compressed natural gas.
So the upfront cost might be higher, but over the long run, you're going to save between $170,000 to $250,000 per bus. So as we're thinking about Metro's long-term health, electric buses are really the way to go.
Saving fuel costs and possibly lives through cleaner air. In downtown LA, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
And though electric buses don't travel as far as gas-powered buses, that could change with battery storage and other technology constantly improving. Well, getting the boot has never looked so good for LA drivers. Anna Marcos takes a look at a pilot program that highlights the new Smart Boot system. But it does take a little work on your part.
Scofflaws, motorists with 5 or more parking tickets, get ready. The city has come up with a whole new way of giving you the boot. Sure, city parking enforcement officials quit using the old boot several years ago because it was too labor-intensive and the boots were heavy. But a new pilot program has released 300 new smart boots out on the streets.
They only have to touch the car one time, where the old boot required us to put it on, come back, take it off.
The reason parking officials only touch your car once is you take the boot off yourself.
The old boot that we had was a 30-pound boot. This is only a 16-pound boot. It's really easy to remove.
With this boot, it's all about the code, and the payment. Once you call the 800 number and make your payment plan, you put in the code they give you, and voila, it's that easy.
The motorist is then responsible for dropping the boot off. Otherwise, you'll get another ticket, another boot, and maybe a charge for theft. The new system could help put more money back into LA coffers since it's easier and quicker for scofflaws to pay up, and it's available 24/7.
The process takes about 5 to 10 minutes to call and pay, and you can actually use a mobile-friendly website or an app to take care of that. So it's very fast.
The one-year pilot program is now limited to a special scofflaw unit, but city workers hope to expand the program and get the smart boot into the hands of parking enforcement workers all over LA. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Cities like New York and Seattle are also experimenting with smart boot systems. Well, do you think girls can do anything boys can do? Well, this group of girls certainly do, as they geared up for a recent Los Angeles Fire Department girls training camp. Rasha Goel takes us there.
I like to help people, and the job is interesting.
Deja Scorza could be a future LAFD firefighter. She is among the 100 girls attending the 3rd annual LAFD Girls Camp. She's about to get a closer look into what being a firefighter entails.
And we want the next generation of girls who will become women, who will become firefighters, to kind of plant that seed.
We're very excited about this event, and in the past, it's been very successful.
This camp was held at Fire Station number 59 in West LA. The 2-day event gave young women a chance to put their skills to the test.
They work side by side with career firefighters that are already hired and have a job with a department, and they get to learn all about the duties and responsibilities of a firefighter. They learn about climbing ladders and pulling hose. They learn about, we get to teach them CPR and first aid.
And these girls are up for the challenge. It's a career some are already considering.
Just helping people every day, it seems just like a really good way to give back to the community and just like serve other people first before myself.
Helping others and jumping in without any fear, these young women are already preparing for success in whatever they decide to do. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Well, we've reported a lot about the city's computer giveaways to families in need. But here's a new strategy in that effort, reaching out to corporations for help. Thousands of new families could benefit. Gil Reyes has more from Pacoima. Gil.
Well, Yana, whether it's giving away old, recycled City of Los Angeles office computers or donating all new ones with the help of corporate sponsors, the point is to deliver as much of the technology as possible to families that don't have it. Today, we're in the community of Pacoima. Sophia Greer was like a lot of former foster children, with nowhere to live after becoming an adult.
Right out of foster care, I was homeless. I was living in a transitional program for AB 12, so it's like you live there till you're 21, and once you're 21, you move to their transitional program.
Greer was lucky. She found Section 8 low-income government housing here at Moonlight Vias Apartments in Pacoima. She's also expected to receive a free Chromebook laptop computer with affordable internet, as low as $18 a month, so she can job search, fill job applications, and so much more. Greer can thank the city and its partners.
So we have 3,000 Section 8 families who are eligible for this program, and then what we're intending to do is, through our nonprofit partner, Human IT, we're going to outreach to all those 3,000 households, give them assistance in locating available low-cost internet options.
The Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles is one partner, so is Frontier Communications. The company donates some 30 Chromebook laptops to Moonlight Via's tenants in this new city collaboration to bridge the digital divide.
When you work for a government, you've got to be creative. You've got to leverage all the different resources out there. So it's not just taking taxpayer money, but it's getting contributions to public-private partnerships. Frontier stepped up in a big way.
Newly elected city council member Monica Rodriguez represents Pacoima and looks forward to even more computer giveaways as chair of the new Information Technology Committee.
You know, I think we're only limited by our imagination, and so I'm looking forward to making sure that we create the kind of collaboratives with our corporate partners to make sure that we fulfill all of the expectations and aspirations in the city of Los Angeles.
Excellent. Just want to tell you, Council.
Vanessa, write that down. We are only limited by our imagination. I will be using that next week. Be assured.
Council President Herb Wesson says he won't be satisfied until every person in the city who needs it has access to computers with Wi-Fi. In Pacoima, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Council President Wesson also leads another computer giveaway campaign, Our Cycle, which takes outdated city department office computers and repairs them for families in need. Well, here's one fun event you can do with the whole family. How about a little cardio down by the river? The Amazing Family Fitness Race is part of the mayor's initiative to encourage healthy communities and more activity on the river. Anna Marcos reports.
A family that dances together stays healthy together. That's the idea behind the Amazing Family Fitness Race, a part of the Summer Down by the LA River program, to get more families doing river activities and encourage them to huff and puff their way to health together.
If you can learn to have fun with fitness, then you can make it part of your lifestyle. And we live in an age where obesity is a big issue. And in the city of Los Angeles, we want to make a difference. We want to make healthier communities.
It, introduces the family to fitness, and it's so much fun to do it as a family.
This fitness challenge has something for everyone. Besides the dance challenge, there is a cardio challenge, a playground challenge, and a strength endurance challenge with this froggy-type squat plank thing. Okay, so you may not conquer the froggy your first time around. It's okay. And if you get too worked up, just head over to the yoga challenge for a calming experience. Oh, but you have to do a plank and a side plank. Or how about just a nice and easy tree pose?
Well, yoga in general has a lot of purposes for focus, mind control, body control, breathing techniques, flexibility, and strength endurance.
There's prizes for the families who finish all the challenges first. Healthy prizes like softballs, frisbees, weights, and bungee cords. You get the idea. If you win, you've got to work out more.
I'm glad we won this race and we are done with it.
She only thinks they're done. Now they're going to have to use those softballs, frisbees, and weights they won. Let's hope the quality family time, the sweaty exercise, and fresh air did these bodies so good
and go
that they'll want to do it again and again and again. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
There were a total of 11 different fitness stations at the event. Over in Council District 9, the musical legacy of Central Avenue lives on, with hopes for an even brighter future along the Strip. Gil Reyes has more from the Central Avenue Jazz Festival.
The Central Avenue Jazz Festival harkens back to a time when sweet sounds emanated from every corner of the block, back when it was the epicenter of West Coast jazz from the 1920s to the 1960s.
My mother actually was a dancer in the Alabama, which was a nightclub in the Dunbar Hotel in 1935. There was the Alabama on this side, there was the Last Word, there was the Mimo, all of these clubs where there was wonderful, wonderful music.
The sounds return for this once-a-year weekend festival. Acts performing on 2 stages and at the historic Dunbar Hotel. Steve Isowardi has written several books about the Dunbar and the area's rich jazz history.
W.E.B. Du Bois stayed here, Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Billie Holiday. This is a legendary place. And just to be back on the Avenue, walking up and down, is a wonderful experience. And to hear music on the Avenue again is fabulous.
During its musical heyday, this area was known as Little Harlem. More than 40% of LA's African American population lived within blocks of Central Avenue. Today, the different cultures are evident in the festival's food choices, from soul food to barbecue to Mexican.
It just feels like a neighborhood. I've lived in Los Angeles for most of my life. Never been on the street before today.
I love it. It's
What do
great.
you like the most?
The atmosphere. People are really friendly, and the shopping is great. I got some great deals.
Central Avenue's council member Curran Price says he's focused on fostering new businesses, affordable housing, and of course, fun.
It's a chance to celebrate what's going on in our community and to really appreciate the importance of music. Jazz is an integral part not only of Central Avenue but of this country.
Still bringing people together after all these years. From the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Councilman Price says his 9th district also has the most potential housing projects in the city, around 500 units worth. He expects many of those units to open soon. Well, local leaders need your help in making LA a more age-friendly city. Nearly 15 acres of land located at Runyon Canyon is now officially protected from development, and a local health fair gets kids ready for school. All these stories in City Beat. As all of us get older, one group in particular will be seeing a dramatic rise in numbers in the LA region. The population of adults aged 65 and above will double between 2010 and 2030. To prepare our region for this dramatic demographic shift, the County and City of Los Angeles launched Purposeful Aging Los Angeles, an initiative that unites public and private resources, ideas, and strategies. The goal is to make LA more age-friendly, and you can help by filling out the PALA survey. Just go to purposefulagingla.com and click on Survey Toolkit. The City of Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks, along with Councilmember David Ryu and other groups, celebrated the acquisition of the 14.9-acre property located at 2450 Solar Drive in the Hollywood Hills area of Los Angeles, adjacent to Runyon Canyon Park. The acquisition, finalized in March, expands Runyon Canyon Park and permanently protects this parcel from development. Runyon Canyon Park is one of the most beloved parks in Los Angeles and draws nearly 2 million visitors per year. Metro art and radio station KCRW debuted Summer Nights at Union Station, a night filled with live music and entertainment. Folks enjoyed a variety of games, body art, DJs playing music, and of course, plenty of dancing, food, and socializing. The second and final summer night takes place Friday, August 25th. Just in time for school, the Arroyo Vista Family Health Center, with support from Councilmember Gil Cedillo, recently hosted a children's health fair in El Sereno. The fair offered free health screenings, childhood immunizations, school supplies, haircuts, and more.
It just shows the community that we care about their health, that we care about making sure that parents have resources.
Okay, kids, time to hit the books. As the school year opens throughout LA, some kids are getting a little academic boost with free backpack giveaways in the inner city's low-income areas. Anna Marcos has more.
Look at this crowd, wall-to-wall people and their kids lining up for a free back-to-school backpack and other goodies.
Okay, so she says she's been in line since 6 p.m. yesterday.
Wow, these people must really want a backpack. The backpacks are a gift from Spectrum Communications, and they're given out with help from local leaders.
This is an important event because it underscores the importance of education, underscores our commitment to it, and the encouragement we can give to young people to do their best.
We have about 800 backpacks, so we are going to be very close, but we are very excited.
There are hundreds of kids at this giveaway, which is happening at A Place Called Home, an after-school haven for low-income kids, which helps them with everything from homework to the arts to college preparation.
I've been here for 7 years, and I come every day of the week.
We do a lot of events for the community, gives a lot of opportunities. Like we have music opportunities, art opportunities.
The backpacks come with all the educational goodies you could want: notebooks, pencils, even headphones. Out at Exposition Park, another back-to-school giveaway. So get out those protractors and notebooks. School is back on. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Spectrum Communications, by the way, was also offering a cheap internet service for low-income families at the event. Well, don't let summer pass you by without seeing an outdoor movie. Enjoy a picnic and live theater at a local park, or unwind and relax as you stroll along the peaceful paths of the Japanese garden. All this in this week's Things to Do. Before summer ends, don't miss your chance to enjoy an outdoor movie. So bring a picnic, blanket, and the whole family to a movie night under the stars, featuring the 2016 version of Disney's The Jungle Book. The screening takes place Saturday, August 26th at 7:30 p.m. at the Victory Vineland Rec Center, located in North Hollywood. Join the fun and entertainment while supporting Tree People's Coldwater Park in the woods and under the stars. Enjoy an eclectic mix of comedy, theater, and music. Pack a picnic dinner and your family for nights of laughs and music by Tree People and the Actors Conservatory Ensemble. Nestled in the rolling hills of Coldwater Canyon Park, this fundraising series showcases acts for the whole family hosted at the Mark Taper Foundation Amphitheater. All the entertainment takes place until September 23rd. For more information, go to treepeople.org/Canyon Nights. In the middle of busy San Fernando Valley lies an oasis, a 6.5-acre garden which features 3 gardens and includes a dry Zen meditation garden. Features include a tortoise island, a 3 Buddha arrangement of stones, and a wisteria arbor across a plover path. Next along the path is an expansive, wet strolling garden with waterfalls, lakes, and streams, abundant greenery, and stone lanterns, which were hand-carved by artists in Japan. The garden is located at the Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant. The garden's purpose was to demonstrate a positive use of reclaimed water. So come take a stroll, relax, and unwind. It's located at 6100 Woodley Avenue in Van Nuys. For more, visit thejapanesegarden.com. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Saving energy is simple. It even saves you money. Replace incandescent light bulbs with compact fluorescent bulbs. Set your thermostat to 78 degrees or higher in the summer. Weather seal your home. When replacing old appliances, select Energy Star qualified appliances that are up to 40% more efficient, and unplug electronic devices when not in use. Visit ladwp.com for more energy-saving tips and information. Save energy, save money.
Don't hurt me this way. Don't touch me this way.
When a physical encounter occurs between man and machine, the machine always wins. Please, don't lose. Obey all the rules of the road.
Don't let me same mistake again.
Hi, I'm Kevin from Chatsworth, offering you a taste of New Orleans since 1986. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35. Our city, our channel.
Good morning, everybody. We're about to get started. I'm John Brady from the Mayor's Office, and I'd like to welcome you to the opening session of Think Bike. I know there is nothing more in the world that you like better than a long political speech, but I'm going to disappoint you this morning and keep this as short as possible. What I wanted to do is do the thank yous and give you sort of an overview of what we're going to be doing over the next couple of days, and then we'll start the program. The first set of thank yous goes to the organizing committee who helped me to organize this event. That was Michelle Mowry from the Department of Transportation, Jane Choi from the Department of City Planning, Alexis Lance from the Los Angeles County Bicycle Coalition, and then we were also assisted by Jennifer Cattell from the Consul General's office in San Francisco, Consul General of the Netherlands, of course. In terms of sponsors, we were generously sponsored by Alta Planning and Design.
Good morning, good morning. Today, if everybody please take their seat. Good morning. Today is Tuesday, August 22nd. I want to welcome you to City Hall, your Los Angeles City Council meeting. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Again, thank everyone for coming. We're going to begin. Mr. Clerk, I believe we have a quorum. Would you call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bonham, Buscaino, Cedillo, Engler, Harris, Dawson, Weezer, Carrasco, Crane, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rodriguez, Rue, Wesson. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. First order of business.
Mr. President, today is Tuesday and time for the flag salute.
Okay. If we could be led today by Mr. Mike Bonin. Everyone please rise for the salute of our flag.
Thank you, Mr. President. If everybody could please place their hand over their heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank you, Mr. Bonin. Mr. Herman, no applause. Okay. Mr. Clerk, continue.
Very good, sir. That brings us to approval of the minutes.
Mr. Koretz moves. Mr. Blumenfield seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Okay, Mr. O'Farrell moves and Mr. Cedillo seconds. Continue.
Mr. President, the Department of Building and Safety recommends that items B, F, L, M, and N be received and filed inasmuch as the liens have been paid in full. Further, there is a request from member to continue item 22 to September 5, 2017. Oh, pardon me, sir. That's item 26 to September 5, 2017. Lastly, there is a request to refer item number 3 to the Budget and Finance Committee.
Okay. Mr. Rue?
Can we hold item 20 on the desk?
Let's hold item 20. Well, I don't think we're there yet. But let's, without objection, so ordered, Mr. Clerk, continue.
Very good, sir. Item 1 is an item notice for public hearing.
Okay. Mr. Blumenfield?
Oh, on item 4, I'd like to ask that be special for a friendly amendment.
Okay, that's the next. Just let me get through one. So, Mr. Clerk, do you have cards on item 1?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then now let's continue.
Very good, sir. That brings us to items 2 through 20. They're items for which public hearings have been held.
Okay, so now Mr. Blumenfield wanted 4. Mr. Cedillo 2. And Mr. Rue, what was 20? Okay. Let's, Mr. Harris Dawson? 10. Okay, let's prepare to vote on the remaining items. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Mr. Clerk, please continue.
Items 21 through 25 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Do you have cards on these items?
Mr. President, yes, we do. Cards on 22 through 25.
Okay. Let's. That leaves us with item 21.
That is correct, sir.
Let's vote on that item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, that brings us where?
Mr. President, that takes council back to items called special or general public comment for items not on council's agenda.
Okay, why don't we start off today with Mr. Herman, if I could get him on my screen. One A, 22, 23, 24, 25, and then general public comment, Mr. Herman. So go ahead. Mr. Walsh, you'll be next.
Well, you're all familiar with so-called federal Medicaid. But thanks to you, Brad Sherman, you racist, leave my president alone. Because without the proper health care, How can we survive? How do we depend on the independent transfer, rookie? Are you listening? Take note of this $9,146. That's not important. Fuck that. Let's go to the next item. Like, for example, 24. Mr. Englander don't care about those of you with health care. He never did. That's why I'm still in here working. I've been working like everyone else, like Spindler, like Michael Hunt, who have challenged your system of State Department health care. Fuck you. Then I go into the next item regarding the reward. But where's Weezer for the reward? Where, Mr. Dawson, for Todd Britt? We need more money, an additional 6 months to pay for a reward offer for someone that you'll never apprehend? Because we have rookie cops, a Silverton cop, and a fake cop who pretend they're doing good and justice for all. But yet our civil rights are denied because you rather give $50,000 to the asshole who's been killed. Have you solved any of these? Have you taken the time, like Mr. Koretz, to solve one reward throughout this entire fucked up city? That's right, Bloomfield. You killed Christ and stuck him on a tree. But once again, Consul's action regarding August 22nd, 2016, for an additional period of 6 months to publicate the offer of reward. Well, snitches get stitches. I don't see one of you going looking for the criminals because you got a stupid silver-tongued cop, Joe Busciano, who can't take care of the business of Wilmington and Imperial, the Rosa Parks station, nigga.
Speaker's off topic.
I'm going back on topic. It deals with rewards. When you stop crime, I stop parading. When you stop crime and stop the reward offer, then I have your attention. Otherwise, we're all fucked up giving out rewards, rookie. Take back your 6 fucking seconds.
Give him his minute for general public comment.
Just another day in paradise. I hear death knocking at my door. Once more, I got the goat, budget man, knocking at my door for the reward of my death. Because all of you are guilty of my death, for the record. Because all you white niggas here want to see a crippled man like me put to death. But it ain't gonna happen, motherfucker. Because this motherfucker answers to the door of who's knocking? Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Ho, ho, ho. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
The speaker is off topic and repetitive.
War, nigga, and how I plan to open up the Ralph Brown Act, action against all the white niggas who violate my First Amendment, my 14th Amendment, and my constitutional rights.
Thank you. Your time is expired. Your time is expired, Mr. Herman. Go sit down, please. And no more sounds out of you. Mr. City Attorney, I'm putting him on record. Mr. Walsh, you have 1A, B, C, 25, and then general public comment.
Well, I handed in 1, 2, 3, 12,
Okay.
15, and 25.
Mr. Walsh, I
City
think
clerk
we've
can
already...
check that out.
The
Hollywood
public hearing...
Highlands.
Mr. Hold his time. Mr. Walsh, the public hearing was satisfied on those other items. So if you would go 1A, 1B, 1C, 25.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org, or J. Walsh Confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. Number 1, this is a nuisance abatement. You do a good job on that. I'm not one of those white guys who say, I don't even need a white city council. You're all a bunch of colored people. I'm not that kind of person. You have those people here, they're dying off. And number one, and then catering trucks. There is one catering truck. I just want the black and Hispanics to remember. One catering truck entered a Jewish neighborhood. It was like Hitler. They called what is this? There's a catering truck in our neighborhood. So now they've got armed guards, and they will shoot down any catering truck in a Jewish neighborhood. And my great-grandmother's name was Bertha Berger. My grandmother's name was Bertha Berger. Okay, LAFD Special Training Fund. Look what it says here. Deposited the limit. Okay, I just want you, if you want a deal, you put the money in the fire department, in this fire department special training fund, and it'll find
Mr.
its
Walsh,
way.
we already moved that, referred that. So if you'd go back to one of your other items, I indicated to you what items you could speak on.
Okay.
25.
Item number 25 is
It's the reward.
okay. Again, the blood is on your hands, Miss Martinez. The black blood is on Mr. Price's hands. We have the #1 hit and run in America. Do you give a shit about that? Do you ever talk about that? I see Bonin's aide is giving him a blowjob.
The speaker's
No,
off
now,
topic.
okay, let's give him his 1 minute for general public comment.
Okay, #1, I'm telling you right now that what we have is over at the county. There's a big donation queen at the county, and he got caught with a black prostitute dead of an overdose in his apartment, which was being used as for drug dealing. So what happened? The sheriffs let the guy go with a blowjob. They gave him a blowjob, but fortunately, the black prostitute's mother went to one of the other newspapers. We got David Sennheiser here. He's as gay as a goose, and he won't print anything that puts down a gay man. But the rest of the media did put it down.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Thank you. Now, verify this for me, Mr. Clerk, Madam Clerk. I believe that concludes public comment on multiple. And do we have any general public comment? So I want to close multiple. And we will close general as well. Let's vote on item 22. On this item, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay,
And
it's been requested that this be sent urgent forthwith, so let's have another vote on that. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, that brings us where?
Mr. President, there has been a request from the department for item 1A to be received and filed. That's 1A, in as much as the lien has been paid in full.
Without objection. What about 23, 24, and 25? On those items, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Mr. Cedillo, Let's take up item number 2 at this point. So, members, on item number 2. Did you want to speak, Mr.?
Sure, I'll speak on it. I don't have a specific objection to the proposal as it's been articulated. It says that in a specific area, it was brought to the attention of the council member that there were abuses with respect to the parking ordinance, the requirements of parking, and that they were brought to the attention of the council member, and the council member has responded appropriately. My objections are to the broader concerns that get brought to me with respect to criminalizing activity of immigrant merchants, whether they be street vendors, whether they be people who are selling from trucks, etc. It's a broader concern. And so for me, my concerns are more, is this the right, the questions for us to ask, is this the right time, place, and manner? Does this require a broad ordinance that's citywide? Or is this an ordinance that could be crafted more narrowly and more specifically to where the abuses have taken place? Is this an overreach, and is this overbroad? These are the concerns that I raise because, as we know, there is a very large and significant immigrant community in the city. They engage in activities, street vending, and they also use catering trucks for their businesses. And there is a renaissance, a culinary renaissance taking place in Los Angeles, and many of the bricks and mortar industries now utilize catering trucks to promote and advance their goods. And so my objections are simply that this is perhaps overbroad and that it should be more narrowly written in a way that's specific to the concerns and the issues that were raised by these specific neighbors, and not one that would create a broad net that would bring in other immigrant motorists or immigrant vendors not intended for this purpose.
Mr. Bonnet.
Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate Mr. Cedillo's concerns. Nevertheless, I'm asking for an aye vote on this. This matter was heard in Transportation Committee. We brought it to Council, then we brought it back to Transportation Committee and tightened it up. I should clarify a few things about this because, one, this is not a new ordinance. This is simply adding something to an existing ordinance. This is a different fine structure for food trucks that park in residential areas, not mixed use, residential areas where we've had a problem getting food trucks to move. Some have been at certain blocks that have actually caused problems. The current ordinance has a single ticket, and folks sort of incorporate it as the cost of doing business. This adds a tiered fine structure so that if you don't move after getting a ticket after 30 minutes or so, you can get a second and you can get a third. It is explicitly, let me be abundantly clear on this, not criminalizing. There is no criminal penalty involved. Other folks have suggested a different ordinance which actually would have criminal penalties, and we dismissed that out of hand, and because of the same concerns Mr. Cedillo was articulating, thought that would be wholly inappropriate. All this does in a residential area is just tier the fine structure so that there is a greater likelihood of enforcement. So I'd ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bonnet. Okay, members, let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
This item was heard in committee, so public comment was satisfied on this issue. Okay, now let's vote on item 4 as amended. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
And Mr. President, for item 20, there has been an amending motion that has been posted and circulated as well.
Mr. Rue?
Yeah. Wanted to speak on 20 on the motion.
Okay, we're not quite there yet.
We're not there yet.
Harris Dawson, Mr. Harris Dawson, 10.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. In 2015, the Coalition of City Unions and the City of Los Angeles signed a letter of agreement and a mutual commitment to set a higher goal for the City of Los Angeles. The goal set out by the mayor was to return the city's workforce to the level that it was before the Great Recession. The directive instructed all 40 city departments to give a report back on the number of positions that they had at an entry level. When I was on the Personnel Committee with Mr. Koretz in 2016, at the 90-day mark when they were supposed to report, we only had report backs from 6 city departments. Since that time, we've gotten report backs from an additional 13 city, or today 15 city departments. So we have 19 departments that have reported back out of 40 city departments. So this is after a directive from the mayor and a motion from the council that was unanimously approved. This motion today, again, doubles down on that request. I would raise it to the level of a demand at this point. If the council and the mayor asks every department to report back on what positions are available, we should expect that we'll get a report back. And more than a year has passed now, we don't have that report back. Those reports were supposed to be made to the local hire jobs committee that was set up by the mayor, that's led by former city councilwoman Jackie Goldberg. The commitment was, of the 5,000 new positions that the city would hire in just a 3-year period, starting in 2015, that some 1,100 of them would be at the entry level and would go through this local hire process. Right now, 87 have gone through that process out of a goal of 1,000, and we're almost half the time is gone. We're halfway to 2018 from the time this agreement was made, and so this motion today, with the support of the chair of personnel and all the members of the personnel committee, doubles down on the ask and requires a quick report back led by personnel from every city department about every entry-level job that is available in the city of Los Angeles. I say all the time, we ask private companies to do local hire. We cajole them, we pressure them, we beg of them to do local hire. We ought to have an aggressive local hire program ourselves. City of Los Angeles is one of the best employers anywhere in Los Angeles County. We ought to make sure we're weighing in and dealing with the unemployment crisis that we have here in the city of Los Angeles. I ask all my colleagues for an enthusiastic aye vote.
Thank you. Mr. Koretz.
President, and thank you, Mr. Harris Dawson, for bringing this forward. This program so far, honestly, has been a huge miss. We've identified a large number of people that are qualified to take these jobs, but we've hardly hired any of them. There are departments that have done well with it, and they've found that these employees are actually better employees because they're highly motivated, they're thrilled to get a job, they work hard to be sure they keep that job, but it's our departments that have fallen down and not really done this hiring. And at least having this report shines a light on what people have done in the various departments, and if they can't even fill out a report, I think it's largely because they haven't done anything and they don't want to spotlight that. And that's the whole point. So I encourage all my colleagues to support this, and in whatever ways you can, to help put some pressure on the departments to make these local hires. Thank you.
Mr. Englander.
I wish I can join you in an enthusiastic yes vote on this, but I can't. There's nothing enthusiastic about it. It's frustrating, it's shocking, It's appalling. The biggest issues that we have today facing our city are some of the biggest crises we've ever faced in our lifetime. Homelessness, people living in poverty, lack of jobs here in Los Angeles, and yet we've got hundreds of millions of dollars sitting in the bank to hire people here in Los Angeles, in our communities, not only to hire them and put them to work, but to improve our communities. We have $100 million sitting in street services for special projects and grant awards and money from various accounts that we've given them over and above the work, and this is just an example. $100 million that has been sitting there for so long that they can't do the work to fix our streets. They're turning grants down, free money, because we don't have the personnel to do the work. That's insanity. We're all spinning our wheels every day trying to deal with the crises that is before us, with homelessness and people losing their homes, and battling about issues of whether we should have food trucks in residential communities because people can't get jobs, talking about allowing street vendors because people can't get jobs. We can't create the opportunities for them, so they should just be able to go out and do it on their own. Yet we're sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars. This isn't enthusiastic. This is sad. What's sad is the general managers aren't even here. Where are they? This is their item. They should be sitting right here, right now, talking about their failure and why they haven't stood up to say, we're either blocked from personnel, we can't hire fast enough, here are the roadblocks, open the floodgates. The taxpayers have spoken and they've given us the opportunity, they've given us the money. And yet, our streets are crumbling more and more. We've got incredible infrastructure projects that we can begin yesterday that are shovel-ready, and we can't hire locally. So, no, I don't vote enthusiastically yes. I welcome these reports, but we can't sit on them. Because every year, our chair of Budget and Finance, Paul Krikorian, stands up in frustration when we get money back from the departments, and they say, you know what? We had a savings because we couldn't finish our work. Seriously? Yet people are starving on the streets in Los Angeles? People are starving on the streets in Los Angeles, and they couldn't finish their work because they didn't have enough staff. That's insanity. And then we just look at hiring and raising more fees, yet we can actually put people to work here in our backyard. So I stand in frustration with a yes vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Ms. Martinez?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to reconsider items 1M from Council File 17-0160-S 399 from last Friday's August 18th council meeting. I'd like to reconsider that and continue it for 30 days.
Okay, let's vote on that. Let's open the roll.
This one, yeah.
Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
And Mr. President, 30 days brings us to September 26.
Okay, so that's done. Mr. Cedillo.
I'd like to clarify my vote on item number 2. It should have been a no vote in lieu of an aye vote.
On item 2, if we can adjust the roll to show Mr. Cedillo as a no vote.
And Mr. President, that being the case, that item will go over, the ordinance will go over 1 week for a second read. That brings us to August 29.
Thank you.
Those Veracruzanas are supposed to be.
Mr. Rue, you ready for 20?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Thank you. Colleagues, first I really want to thank the chair of the Committee on Homelessness, Councilmember Marquis Harris Dawson, for his tremendous work on this issue, as well as being so supportive and so collaborative, for also continuing this item from last Friday and working with my office to add the flexibility of a definition of chronic homelessness, as well as looking to gender equity for the use of these precious funds from Measure HHH. As you know, the definition for chronic homelessness is 12 months straight being homeless, which omits a lot of people, and which is why the amending motion 20A before you will allow for the use of what HUD is calling dedicated plus, which would allow individuals who have been residing in transitional housing projects, emergency shelters, including domestic violence shelters, safe havens, receiving assistance from Veterans Administration funds to also qualify for chronic homelessness. So I really want to thank Councilmember Marquis Harris Dawson for working with us on this for a more flexible definition of chronic homelessness. And the second piece, which I know Councilmember Martinez has also requested in the past, to ask for a report back on gender equity issues in these units. But Mr. President, if I could actually amend the motion for item 2 to add 45 days for the report back to come back in 45 days.
Is there an issue with that, Mr. Clerk?
Yeah.
So it's recommendation 2, it's not item 2. Okay, so.
Correct.
All right, so we can do that?
Yes, sir.
I'll second it. Let's prepare to vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, forthwith on that item. Let's go to 1C. I believe, Madam Clerk, there's a card on 1C. If I could get the name of the speaker. Item 1C.
Mr. President?
Yes, Mr.
On that
Buscaino.
item, if I may speak, it's before us today. Item 1C, if we can just continue that for 30 days?
Without objection, then so ordered on 1C.
Thank you.
And 30 days brings us to September 26th.
Mr. Rue?
Mr. President, for item 28, can we do it urgent forthwith?
So now we'll vote on an urgent forthwith on item 20. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Item 1K, we have a Mr. Horn. Item 1K. Okay, let's vote on that. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
So at this point, we'll vote on the sergeants. Sergeants, where's the sergeant? There's a gentleman back here, blondish hair. Can we see, he may need, I don't know if he's expecting to speak. Find out what's going. Mr. Herman, leave them alone. Let the sergeant work it out. Mr. Herman, you're not involved. So was there an item that he... Okay, so let's vote on reconsideration on item 1K. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
So it's my understanding that there's a request that be continued to September 26th as a 30-day continuance. Item 1I, we're going to continue that as well. We'll continue it for 30 days as well. So 1I will be continued to September 26th.
Yes, sir. The remainder consists of items 1D, G, H, I, and J. Again, that's D, G, H, I, and J.
Okay, let's prepare to vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, what additional business is before this body?
Mr. President, Council has motions for posting and referral.
They are posted and they are referred.
The desk is clear.
Announcements, members. Announcements. If all would.
An announcement.
Yes, Ms. Martinez.
Thank you. Colleagues, in August of 1920, Tennessee voted to ratify the 19th Amendment, which granted the women the right to vote, which is why in 1971, Congresswoman Bella Abzug led Congress in recognizing August 26th of every year as Women's Equity Day. Tonight, we'll be holding our second annual Women Equity Day here in City Hall. I'd like to invite everyone who's watching or anyone in the public to come and join us. We'll have a panel of young women speak to us about their engagement in politics, what they're doing in their respective colleges or communities to ensure that women claim their fair share in the political power. We also have our very special guest, Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez, that's going to be joining us again tonight for Women's Equity Day here at City Hall at 6:30 this evening. I hope you all can join us. Thank you.
Thank you for that announcement. Members, any additional announcements? If all would please rise. All would please rise for adjourning motions. Mr. Koretz.
Mr. President, I first wanted to make one quick announcement, which is that I have had a wonderful group of interns this year, and the last three of which are here on their last day. And I wanted to recognize Dakota Rose, Emily Moss, and Julie Epstein, who have done an incredible job, and wanted to give them all certificates to recognize their great work.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Mr. Herman, calm down. Okay, Mr. Herman, stop it. All right? And I've warned you a half a dozen times today. No, you know what, Mr. Herman, have him removed. No, just have him removed, sergeants. And let's come on with some haste. Mr. Herman.
Mr. Herman is continuing to disrupt the meeting and preventing our work from getting done. And in case the recording's not picking it up, he's continuing to shout as he leaves the room. And he's continuing to make noises as he leaves. And for the record, he's still making noises and disrupting as he leaves the room. And he's shouting from the back.
Yeah, he can't help himself. Okay, we're now back in the adjourning portion. I'm looking to Mr. Englander.
Come on over. Colleagues, today I would ask that we adjourn in memory of an amazing woman and leader in our community. Her family's here with us today, Carol Laporte, a longtime member of the Granada Hills Women's Club. Carol passed away on February 24th of this year, less than a year after her husband, Larry, who was the director of street lighting here in Los Angeles. Carol Denise Laporte was born in Des Moines, Iowa, on November 6, 1929. With her musical talent prior to moving west in 1935, Carol sang commercial jingles on the radio and won a statewide talent contest to be named Iowa's Little Shirley Temple. In fact, her family's got a pretty remarkable photo of Carol on the shoulders of one of the announcers at KSO Radio at an event, a guy by the name of Ronald Reagan, where they both worked at the same time together. She was devoted and has devoted 56 years of her life to volunteerism. Various women's clubs, the Monterey Park Junior Women's Club, Monterey Park Women's Club, the Granada Hills Women's Club. Carol joined the Granada Hills Women's Club in the early 70s, soon after moving to the Valley from Monterey Park. Her club years focused on law enforcement activities, and while she served in many offices and chairmanships during the mantle of the president from 1980 to 1982, and again, 94 to 95. She was a vital member of many of their clubs and organizations and choirs. She also represented Granada Hills on the district level, serving as the district chair and winning recognition on the state level from the California Federation of Women's Clubs for her leadership. The Ports were married for 60 years. They welcomed 5 children, Denise, Cherry, Debbie, Doug, and Diane. Along with them came 9 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild. In fact, I was talking to Jane last night about her, and because we're getting ready to celebrate in September our 24 years of marriage. And she said, yeah, 24 years. But 60? Really? 60 years? It's remarkable. And she said, we've got to hit that. 60 years. She showered her family, friends, and all she knew with love, always thinking the best of others and working hard to make the world a better place. She's truly loved, will always be remembered, will be greatly missed by all who knew her. The wonderful memories of her will live on for many generations. I was looking at some photos of Carol the other day, in fact, and there was a great photo of her where she got together with all the women's clubs, and they would have coffee in the grocery store and sit at a table in the grocery store, and LaPrestis and so many others. And she had an infectious smile, was always positive and embracing. She'll be missed not only by the family and her memories and will carry on, but by all of us, because she was what is our community. A community is only made up of the very people that are in them. And to have people like Carol who gave so much to so many, expecting nothing in return, that's what makes it special. And she shall rest in peace. Her memory shall live in all of us forever. Thank you very much.
Well done, Mr. Englander. I'm continuing to look to my left. I do not see any more adjourning motions to my left. Now I'm looking to my right. I don't see Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's with a heavy heart and some loving chuckles that today we remember Jerry Lewis, the slapstick-loving comedian, innovative filmmaker, and generous fundraiser for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, who died on Sunday. He knew success in movies, on television, in nightclubs, on the Broadway stage, and the University Lecture Hall. Shortly after World War II, Jerry Lewis became famous for his slapstick teenage role in a comedy duo with Dean Martin. In 1956, he went on to a successful solo career, eventually writing, producing, and directing many of his own films. Over the years, Jerry Lewis acted and directed and produced a series of films, including memorable hits like The Bellhop and The Nutty Professor, which was a study in split personality that was as disturbing as it was hilarious, and is probably the most honored and analyzed of his films. My personal favorite was his 1983 film, The King of Comedy, which was actually a rare dramatic role in which he played a late-night talk show host. He signed a contract with NBC for a series of specials and renewed his relationship with the Muscular Dystrophy Association, a charity that he and Dean Martin had long supported, by hosting a 19-hour telethon For more than 40 years, his annual Labor Day telethon produced a total of about $2 billion and attracted countless celebrities to raise money for the cause, including the likes of Frank Sinatra and his old pal Dean Martin. Among his lifetime accolades were achieving 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The Cannes Film Festival officially honored him in 2013, and in 2015, the Library of Congress announced that it had acquired his personal archives. Along with all of his accomplishments and his personality, some of his famous signature catchphrases like, "Hey lady," will keep his memory alive forever. May he rest in peace.
That was not bad. That was not bad, Mr. Koretz. Would you like to try it one more time?
Hey lady.
You know what, members, it was at a time, comedy has to be the most difficult thing that there is. I really don't understand why we don't give Academy Awards or Oscars because it is the most challenging thing that you can do. And when my favorite movie was Nutty Professor and was the character of Buddy Love, and it was his co-star Stella Stevens, but he made you laugh at a time when there were no improper gestures. There was nothing that even resembled a curse word. And so that makes it, in a lot of respects, even doubly or triply difficult. So he's a great man, and he will be missed. And thank you, Mr. Koretz, again for your, I'm going to have that, we'll get that on a DVD and we will send it. And whenever you're going to speak before a group, we will always play that. You want to give us one to go? Members, I tried. Anyway, with that said, this meeting is adjourned.